Hello, Miss Steele here. So we're going to be making our clay flowers and we're talking about rhythm. So kind of repeating the same sort of step, and that's what we're going to get with this whenever we're making our flowers. Our first step is making our base. We have a slab of clay right here. I'm working on this so it doesn't stick to the table. And I have a square that's 4 inches by 4 inches, and I'm going to cut out my base using my pokey tool. And then I'm going to use the rest of the clay to make my flower. There's 2 different ways you can do this. You can do a flower that's flat and kind of going out and has a center, or you can do more of like a rose. And I will show you the 2 different ones. So I have all of this extra clay for my flower, and this is going to be for my base right here. I also have these little texture sheets so I can add some texture into my base. So I'm just pressing down, not too hard, so I can get some texture on this, kind of like that. So I'm going to get some texture on this side, and then I'm going to smooth down the edges of this square. So I'm going to dip my finger in some water and smooth it down. Alright, so now we're going to move on to our flower, which is going to go on our base that we made. And first I'm going to show you a flower that kind of comes out from the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the center of my flower, and I'm going to use a ball of clay, and I'm rolling it, and then I'm going to pinch it so I can get that circle to go right here in the middle, so I can put my petals coming out from the circle. To get this on here, and for my petals, I want to score. So to score, you add lines wherever your piece of clay is going, like that. I'm going to add some lines on here, and then I'm going to add a dab of water to use like glue. And I'm going to squish it right there. And now I'm going to be able to use the clay to make the shape of my petals. There's a few different shapes you can make. You can kind of play around with them. The easiest way is to roll it into a ball, squish it out, and then you can decide kind of if you want more of a petal that's pointy on the end, you'll start to pinch it on one end. If you want a petal that kind of comes out, you can pinch it even harder around your thumb, and that kind of makes a 3D sort of petal that's coming up on the edges like that. So that's a petal that I pinched out that I could start putting around here. Another style is a flatter petal. So what you could do is you could flatten it out, and then you could draw and cut out the shape that you want. If I wanted a shape that's more wavy, I could flatten it out and cut out like this. And then I could use that for a petal. You want to do the same style throughout. I'm just showing you a few different ways. Another way is to take your clay and kind of roll it into a little log, and then use your thumb to start pressing it out. And that's a different way you could get a petal. And then you're going to put these all around. I'm going to show you as well how you can make a rose. So for this, you're going to make all of your petals, and we're going to start in the center and kind of work our way out. So for the center of our rose, I'm starting with a little log of clay like this. And then I'm going to start making my petals, and I want them to be smaller in the middle and then get bigger. So for a rose petal, all you do is take a little bit of clay and then use your fingers to kind of press it down. And you want it to be rounded on the side. And then using some water, like glue, you can start pressing it around this little piece of clay. So I'm going to make my next petal, squeezing it out with my thumb, like this, adding a little bit of water, and working around this little piece I have in the center. And then you can just keep adding petals to this until you make a rose. I'm going to keep going with squeezing out little pieces of clay, getting some water on them and putting them around here. And then we're going to see what it looks like more towards the end. Alright, so I just finished my rose going around that center part with just more and more petals. I'm going to score on here and put some water down so my rose will stick like that, and then being very gentle and pressing it on here so it'll be stuck to the clay. I have some extra clay. What I could do is I could add in some flowers that are smaller on the side. I could add in some leaves for the flower. So that is up to you. But this is what it's going to kind of look like. I think I'm going to go ahead and add in maybe some leaves for the sides. And that's it. I'm excited to see how your projects come out. I will see you next time.